Hi, welcome to our presentation on Cafe Britt. We're going to be discussing some marketing strategy analysis and recommendations. So our project goals, we learned throughout this whole semester how to conduct a market scan, an external analysis, create a target customer profile, and conduct surveys and interviews. And all of these were done through analyzing the company Cafe Britt, and that was the goal, to help them come up with innovative solutions to their problems.
So in Cartedo, there was 3 different segments that we did along the last few months. And the first one was a company and competitor analysis. We searched the websites of Cafe Britt, Black Rifle Coffee Company, and Misto Box, and also their shopping sites, and did some internet research on our own in order to figure out what their strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats were. And we made a SWOT table out of those for each one. Then our next method for doing the Cartedo Part 2 was to determine the customer segments and the personas. So we had to identify who Cafe Britt was currently serving and how they were doing that, like what differentiated them and what attracted current customers. Then we had to brainstorm the new best potential customers and then create personas based on those. So who would buy the product, who should we target, who should we go after? And in the third segment of Cartedo, we did some customer analysis, which involved developing a Qualtrics survey. Some questions that we asked were demographic related, behaviors with coffee, and attitudes towards coffee. And with that, we decided to make customer interviews. So we would interview a couple of our friends and family and people who filled out the survey and determine their behaviors and attitudes towards coffee as well.
So based on those analyses that we did doing the SWOT analysis looking at other companies, we determined that Cafe Britt's distinction was that they are eco-friendly and that their target demographic should be that 18 to 35-year-old range, especially those that are eco-conscious and those that already drink coffee a lot. Based on that, we created these surveys, and each of us had different questions to ask, and so we got some different results, such as that the majority of those that completed the survey only drink 1 to 2 cups of coffee a day. That spending range can vary, so some of our surveys said that the majority of people drank coffee and only spent $1 to $5, while other surveys had a majority in the $16 to $45 range. The purchasing motivation for a lot of these customers was the flavor, price, strength, and aroma of the coffee, and they preferred to brew at home using coffee grounds, and having a dark or medium roast was the most popular form of coffee. When asked about food and drink subscriptions, that was not a popular option for most of the surveyors. They also usually did not purchase coffee online, but rather at a grocery store. They usually didn't consider their impact on the environment when making purchases, and that was mostly because of the price and also not having an alternative that was eco-friendly. The interviews that we conducted showed that they were usually satisfied with how they purchased coffee and drank coffee right now, and a lot of them didn't know about Cafe Britt and were also unwilling to make a change since they were already happy with the way that they were purchasing coffee.
So our main takeaways for the Cafe Britt case study is that they need to move their product into stores. The problem is if you just have an online presence, the customer can never see the product and doesn't know what the product is. So if they can move their product and their coffee into target stores that fit their environmental mission, like Whole Foods, Sprouts, and Trader Joe's, it'll make it easier for customers to know who they are and what they are. Secondly, it is good for them to just sell 1 bag instead of sets of 3 bags. Right now on Amazon, you can only sell 3 Cafe Britt bags, and the problem with that is that it's already an expensive product, so if you're on the edge of buying just 1 bag, you probably won't buy 3 bags. So if they had the option to buy 1 bag, that would make it a lot easier for customers to splurge and try their new coffee. And third is to reconsider the target customer profile due to the monetary constraints of young professionals. And that is because this is one of the higher priced coffees on the market, and for them to try to sell to younger audiences, it's harder to get them to go to a coffee they don't know about if it's a high price.
Some other key takeaways we had were that Cafe Britt needs to increase their marketing and increase their exposure to their target customers here in the U.S. market. Some ways we suggest doing that is by partnering with established monthly service subscriptions such as Miso Box that gives customers the chance to try a variety of different products while staying within a budget. We also suggest putting out some targeted ads when people search for new coffee products, search for environmental sustainable coffee products and other similar terms. And we highly recommend that Cafe Britt highlights their sustainable practices in all their marketing and all their branding materials. Right now on the website on Amazon, it's not very clear exactly how sustainable they are and how like invested in sustainability they are. So by highlighting these things, it's going to increase their customers that are coming in looking for environmentally sustainable products. Additionally, we suggest that Cafe Britt offers some promotions for people to try their coffee and get new customers coming in the door. As most consumers are reluctant to try new coffees, this will help get new consumers in, such as saying, hey, if you buy this bag of coffee and try Cafe Britt, you will get 50% off on your next coffee purchase from us if you do a survey. These are some different ways that Cafe Britt can increase their marketing and increase their exposure within the U.S. market. Thank you for listening and taking our advice into consideration. Here is our contact information. Feel free to contact us with any questions or concerns.